Double Tap Root Beer, one of the most iconic perks in Call of Duty Zombies history, has a very strange history with the Call of Duty Zombies franchise. In fact, for a very long period within the entire franchise, the perk didn't even exist. And so today I kind of wanted to go over the history of Double Tap Root Beer, the very strange history of Double Tap Root Beer. So Double Tap Root Beer makes its debut in Call of Duty World at War. Now, it wasn't on Nocturne Totem because, as we are all familiar with, Nocturne Totem was literally as bare bones as you could possibly get. It was the inception of the Zombies mode. Verrückt, however, the first DLC map for World at War, would update some new mechanics and kind of become a even more groundbreaking experience than Nocturne Totem was, because it gave us traps and perks. One of these perks being Double Tap Root Beer. Double Tap increased every weapon's fire rate by 33%. It also raised the semi-automatic caps, allowing you to fire your weapons faster. It sped up bolt action and pump action weapons, and it also sped up claymore interactions, or laying down claymores faster. It cost 2,000 points, and the benefit of this perk was that it had a huge damage per second bump because you were literally firing your weapon 33% faster, getting even more bullets into the enemy quicker. The problem was that it burned up ammo so quickly that most players didn't really feel that it was necessary to have equipped. And so you'll find that a lot of high rounders, speedrunners, stuff like that, the two perks that they would go for are Speed Cola, because faster reloads are very important, and Juggernog. You wouldn't find Quick Revive because at this point in time, it would not self-revive the player, and you wouldn't typically find Double Tap because although the extra damage is nice, you were wasting far more ammo, and so for most people, they just kind of skipped it. However, it was one of the 4 original perks ever added to Call of Duty Zombies. Now, Double Tap didn't have much of an evolution going into Black Ops. It did the exact same thing. It increased the fire rate of weapons by 33%. It still cost 2,000 points. It still allowed bolt action and pump action weaponry to be fired quicker, as well as laying down equipment such as claymores or bouncing betties or what have you, 33% quicker. So Black Ops is the exact same perk that we have in World at War. However, where things get interesting is in 2012 with the release of Black Ops 2 Zombies. Most people will refer this version of Double Tap to Double Tap 2.0, and in fact, on the perk machine, it literally says Double Tap Root Beer 2. Now, what makes this version of the perk so different? Well, it still boosts the rate of fire, however, it splits every single hit scan projectile into 2. Now, what does hit scan mean? So hit scan, back in these days of Call of Duty, in the programming, there wasn't an actual projectile leaving the barrel. You wouldn't see some of that video game technology until later on. And so if you were pointing a weapon at another player and you fired the trigger, it would just activate damage on that player, or NPC in this case for zombies. However, what this effectively did is it allowed it to have double damage. So your rate of fire was still 33%, and while yes, you are technically burning through your ammo at a much faster rate, you were also doubling your effective damage, allowing you to use less ammunition. And this here, Double Tap 2, allowed it to become a crutch perk. If you were going into zombies, you absolutely had to have Double Tap as one of your perks if you were trying to do Easter eggs or trying to get to a high round, because that double damage was so critical. It became just as important as Speed Cola for reloading and Juggernog for having extra health and being allowed to hit more. Double Tap 2 is a critical perk. Now, this version of the perk was once again in Black Ops 3, and it boasted the exact same perks. It allowed you to fire your weapons 33% faster and did effectively double the damage across all weapons that were affected by Double Tap 2. However, it was completely removed from the game in Black Ops 4. Treyarch decided that they wanted to completely revamp the the perk system for Black Ops 4. And the reason for this, as Jason Blundell has stated multiple times before, is he wanted to end crutch perks. Now, the crutch perks in question are Juggernog, Speed Cola, and Double Tap. None of those perks are actually in Black Ops 4. Instead, damage scaling now came from a weapon rarity and double pack-a-punch mods system, if that makes any sense. Effectively, weapons have different rarities and they can deal extra damage, and if you go into double pack-a-punch your weapons, just like you could in Black Ops 3 with getting alternate ammo types such as fireworks or turned, these mods would effectively duplicate Double Tap 2's extra bullet system. And then you could pack-a-punch your weapon up to 5 times in order to reach the max damage for that weapon. And the whole idea behind this is that you wouldn't have to have Double Tap as one of your perks, taking up a very, very precious perk slot, and you could still get that extra damage. But the problem is, you're removing this traditional classic feel from the game that so many players, so many fans are so fond of. Now, Black Ops 4, released in 2018, was the first time since 2008 that we received a game at launch that did not ship with Double Tap. And we would see a continuation of that trend in 2020 with the release of Black Ops Cold War. Now, the Double Tap theme song is kind of remixed into some of the score for some of the maps, and you can also see a poster on the multiplayer map Diesel for Black Ops Cold War, but these are the only traces of Double Tap in the entire game. All of the damage scaling was handled entirely by the 3-tier Pack-a-Punch system, allowing you to upgrade your weapon 3 times to Pack-a-Punch Tier 3 and the weapon rarity system, and that's how you could get weapons that would deal extra damage, effectively eliminating Double Tap once again. There was a point in time where fans data mined the jingle and speculated about a mid-season return of the perk. However, it never happened. And once again, in Vanguard in 2021 and Modern Warfare 3 Zombies in 2023, we had other upgrade systems that would continue to replace Double Tap. And so we unfortunately didn't get the perk in either of those games. And so with the release of Modern Warfare 3 Zombies in 2023, it marked 8 years ever since a game shipped without Double Tap. I guess technically 6, but Black Ops 3 shipped in 2025. You get my meaning. It's been a long time. However, Black Ops 6 would see the return of Double Tap with the Shattered Veil update. Now, the Black Ops 6 perk system has a very complex system to it, but effectively, the base perk is Double Tap 1.0. It increases the rate of fire by about 30 to 33%. Now, the augment system that I was referring to just a moment ago allows you to slot in one major and one minor upgrade, with these upgrades being double standard that allows bullets to deal twice the damage to body shots, double jeopardy, which allows low HP zombies to instantly die, double impact, which is rapid double hits deal more damage, double time, which is a higher rate of fire bonus, double play, which means multi-kills refund 2 rounds, which effectively is a soft alchemical antithesis from Black Ops 3, and double or nothing, which means 50% chance for twice the damage or 50% chance for 0 damage. Which, I'll be honest, I don't really see the purpose for that. But the cool thing about this system is that it allows players to tailor Double Tap to be a high rate of fire spam, ammo economy, or boss burning perk without making it an automatic best in slot perk, if that makes any sense. So the history of Double Tap from 2008 all the way up to 2024 with the release of Black Ops 6, or technically the addition of it in 2025. It brings up the question of why has Double Tap been changed or forgotten about for so long and so many different updates? Well, it comes down to fixing the original perk from World at War, because while it did increase the rate of fire of weapons, it empty mags way too quickly, and so the problem was most players would opt to just not have the perk equipped at all, because holding on to that ammo, even if it does require someone to empty more of their magazine into a zombie, they may not have to waste all that ammo with double tap increasing rate of fire. You get what I'm saying. But double tap 2 fixed this by allowing it to shoot 2 bullets with every single shot, effectively doing double damage and allowing the player to hold on to some of their very, very precious ammo. With the problem of this being, the caveat being, that it became a crutch perk, something that Jason Blundell referred to many, many times. Now, his resolution for this in Black Ops 4 to just get rid of it and incorporate it into the game's mechanics does make sense on paper, but the other problem, the other caveat with this, is that players love the familiarity of going up to a perk machine, hearing the jingle, buying a perk, popping off the bottle cap, drinking it down, and adding the perk to their arsenal. There is something so special that these modern day Call of Duty developers just can't get right, and they don't understand the significance, the feeling. Maybe it's nostalgia, but regardless, the idea of going up to a perk and hearing the jingle and purchasing it from the machine and drinking it, and this entire experience is just so perfect. And yes, the modular design in Black Ops 6 of being able to customize your perk is really cool. I can absolutely get behind it. I think it is a true evolution of the mode and the systems in the correct direction. It's kind of a revamp of what Blundell was trying to do with Black Ops 4, but I think more players are a lot more receptive to this system because they still get their perks, their classic perks, but then they get to customize what they do. And I think not having a perk limit, while it may allow players to become extremely overpowered over a period of time, say over the game's life cycle, with the addition of new perks and new ways to break the perks and stuff like this, the players still get this familiar feel of buying a perk machine or buying a perk from a perk machine and then still being able to customize it to their liking. Regardless, double tap has had a very strange history over the course of the Call of Duty Zombies franchise, and I thought it'd be fun to break that down today. With that being said, I hope you enjoyed the video. Please go ahead and drop a like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I look forward to making more videos like this. Have a nice day.